Welcome back, adventurers. My name is Eli, the Game Master, and this is A Good Day to Die. Last we left off, the group had finished the Kobold cave crawl. They had saved Bob's bouncing baby bear, returned it to said giant, and more than that, gave him a new purpose in life, inviting him to the Blackberry Farms where he can start a new life with new friends. And so, as the group had headed there, things started to wind down, and the group had found a new connection with one another. Manzarek had asked Isaac to accompany him to Dremport so that he could find someone that he was looking for. Ragnar had felt guilt for frightening Perry, not really understanding why or how, and was wanting to console the child and get a kind of understanding of what might be going on. Damon, in the last conflict, had nearly given his life to protect Rayado from the creature inside the pit. All of these things had brought the group closer together, and Ragnar, in the middle of the night, had a strange nightmare that jolted him awake. And we will go ahead and pick it up there. So, Ragnar, you find yourself awake in your room, your heart's racing, you're breathing heavily. You're just kind of in a cold sweat, and you realize that it is a little later than when you had fallen asleep. You're guessing probably 2 or 3 hours at the very most. Okay. Would you like to do anything?
Just sitting straight up, just panting, looking at my right arm, still wrapped in bandages around it, and I look over on the nightstand to see if the note's still there.
Yes.
Just kind of feeling, I guess, a little defeated a little bit, and just lay back down, go back to sleep.
Harry, you had spent a large portion of this evening out and about playing with the twins, Verum and Fork. The night had drug on, and you had had so much fun catching frogs, playing with fireflies, doing things that you never had the opportunity to do before. As you approach the inn, it is quiet. There's a small fire kind of smoldering in the fireplace. As you get to the door, you look down and you realize your boots are muddy, and you have a moment where you're like, oh, Dad's gonna kill me. And then just kind of the realization.
Reality just... Yeah.
Right. And even with that weighing on you, and the prospect of you finally getting into Dremport to kind of get an idea of what's happening, what's going on, to solve this mystery, and your father's final words to you before he teleported you, you still had fun tonight. You, for the first time in your life, got to be a kid. And so, even though with all of these things washing over you, it's a very bittersweet feeling. And so, as you head into the inn, Ragnar's laying down to sleep. Would anyone else like to do anything before the night wraps up?
The good doctor would probably say, because I imagine I would have watched them leave and kind of, not like a dad waiting for the kids to go home, but more of just to make sure they're safe and they don't stay up too late.
Right.
So I'd just be in the corner flipping through a book.
I will tell you, when he comes in, it is what a normal adult would consider too late for a child.
I am not a normal adult.
Okay.
So yeah, just sitting in the corner using dark vision to read the book.
All the pictures are in black and white.
Sure.
Damon is closed up in his room for the night, which is where anybody finds them when they go looking for him.
Where everybody had found him previously.
And probably just off comment to the twins as they go in. I was like, how many did you catch?
They stop because it just, I would assume, just like manifests from a darkened corner. They like both stop. I would assume Perry is kind of unfazed by that probably.
Because you see me.
Yeah, you knew he was there. They stop, they kind of look over, and they said, none. The other one says 5. They look at each other. 5, the other one says none. They look back at each other. Whatever the right answer is.
Let's get to bed so you can do your chores in the morning.
Good night, doctor. They say as they like up to their room.
Look at you, give a nod.
See you in the morning.
And you would see he closes the book. I said, I was waiting for you guys to come in.
Just going up and
Ready for bed?
ready for bed.
What's the weather like right now? Out of curiosity.
It is a warm summer's eve.
Alright. Enjoying the crap out of that.
Yeah.
In the field, so.
I imagine you're just sitting on a rock by the river. You're just like, let me sing you a song of my people. Your throat's just out, and all the other frogs are like, what is that? The frog mother.
No. No.
So, the evening wears on, and as I stated before, Tamor seemed to had enjoyed himself a little too much the evening before, and you knew you were probably going to get a late start, heading to Dremport the next morning. But Manzarek had expressed interest in revisiting the Kobold Cave in the one of the two chambers that you had not explored yet. So when the sun comes up, just kind of creeping over the horizon, you hear the rooster crow. And I assume in anticipation of doing that, you all would wake up. Where did you leave the note?
On the nightstand.
Just on your nightstand? So, you all wake up the next morning. You do see that Barum and Forik are not downstairs doing their morning chores like they should be, probably sleeping in the night before. Kavram, however, is. He is up, he's going about the farm doing his thing, and he has a very, I am displeased with everything that has happened expression on his face. Barav is sleeping in, but Shalina is preparing breakfast for everyone. She's up that morning and just gathering eggs from the chicken coop outside and walking in as she sees some of you start to file out of your rooms. And she gives you a very pleasant smile and nod as you step out. Also, if any of you need confirmation, like a reminder on who these characters are and what they look like, feel free to ask. Because I know there's a lot of them, and I'm sure our viewers are like, who's that again? You know.
You're not taking notes? What?
Thanks for the follow, Laura.
I am coming downstairs and I am walking as if I'd had the first workout in a long time. I'm very tender, walking. Ow. Oh. I haven't swung the sword like that in a while. Oh. And so I sit down at the table. It's.
Makes dad noises as he sits.
Yeah, like that.
In an almost opposite nature, I kind of sprightly slide down the railing and just...
I'll give you a really.
Good morning.
Look.
Sleep
Good
good?
morning. I slept.
Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome.
I know combat's expensive for a physical taxation, but you look like you did more than just the fighting yesterday.
It's been a while since I've fought like that.
Okay. What was the number, by the way?
The what?
I'm asking Perry.
Oh, the number?
Yes.
I think they had 22?
Genuine, please. Good job.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And I usually wake up probably just right before the sun, and I'll Selena with the cooking and getting things hot and ready.
I come in from the outdoors. Yep. No, Rihanna just falling wrong.
Footprints no longer leaving wet marks to the left.
That's new.
Shalina sets the eggs to the side, and you see Rayado slowly stalking the table as he walks up. He just kind of grabs an egg and he turns it. And then he puts it where he does that as he swallows it.
That was really good.
Just like a raptor.
It's like... Because of all of the
Perhaps such a session hurry on. Eli just looks at lizards eating food and doing things.
I think it was more like a pelican.
Oh, pelicans are terrible. They turn their neck inside out. That bothers me.
They do that to cool down. That's weird.
I saw that in San Diego for the first time, and it just casually was just standing there, and then it was like, and it like just threw its neck out and then back in, and it was like, and I was just like,
Just learn to sweat. It's easier.
Just learn to sweat.
yeah.
Where'd you hide your spaceship?
Which I could just casually turn my face inside it, but whatever.
After waking up, I'll see, is the note still on the nightstand?
Yes.
I just get up, leisurely taking it, just put it with my bag, and I get up and go downstairs.
You see the group has, for the most part, already gathered.
I just get over there, like cracking my knuckles in my neck, and it's just like really expected it to be a little smoother than it was, but I didn't know it, so I didn't really know what to expect.
When Damon sees that everybody's there at the table, he reaches back, pulls out a pouch, and kind of dumps all the coins on the table and says, "Here, I think it's like 10 per, something like that." And starts giving up the loot. So everybody should
I will
have
just lean over,
10 gold coins.
take one coin. You take the other two amongst each one. Two coins. Take the other 8. Divvy it amongst each of you.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue. So everybody gets 12.
No, is that plus the 5?
What 5?
Well, for the journey, we're getting 5, right?
Oh yeah, huh? No, that's separate. This is just the loot from the cave.
Sure.
That's,
Should have been 12, I guess, per person. Or
Because I promised payment. Basically, with that, I'm just like, you just take.
I understand. Kind of like everybody is here, right? Yeah. Ragnar?
Yeah.
Can you explain what happened in the cave?
Should you be more specific?
It can be very specific. Your eyes turned black. You had thick ichor rolling down your cheeks. Your veins were coursing black. Your veins turned black.
When?
What was her name?
Adrian.
Adriac. When you were fighting Adriac, right before you pushed her down the hole.
Yeah, I stopped her. I saved you from her hurting you. And then I asked if you were fine, and you just ran away.
Why were your eyes black?
They weren't.
They were.
Roll me a sense motive.
It's a 19 on the dice.
You were all listening in, even though most of us
It's a 13.
So, both of you. He is telling the truth. He truly doesn't know what
And you remember the whole fight.
Yeah, I'm a barbarian. I rage, so a lot of my anger comes out. That's why I get stronger. But I mean,
Do you black out often? I just suddenly call out from the kitchen.
I've only ever blacked out once at a fight, but I really got thrown against the wall. But
What happened after you blacked out?
I don't know.
Interesting.
My memory's kind of hazy. That was probably a little over a week ago.
Someone who doesn't remember their entire lifetime, I understand that completely.
Yeah. It happened a little over a week ago. It's really hazy. Actually, that's why I asked you how long I've been here. I don't recall joining the caravan and just it's here.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. You should definitely get that checked.
You can choose. I just sort of postulate and then go back to cooking eggs or whatever.
Choose to do what?
You said you were a barbarian. You use rage.
Yeah.
Is that the state you choose to be in?
I mean, yeah, I know that if it's needed.
Could you do it now for like a brief second?
And
As someone who doesn't know, I know that.
the problem is it takes a big strain on my body, and it's hard to go into that state again.
It's not a trained seal.
Hey, rage.
If you were an actual mountain, I would say something.
Well,
That was kind of it's like you were a real pound.
Now am I feeling the hurt?
just the
I don't know how I'm able to use and conjure this healing magic. I'm used to doing it in a much more physical manner. So, I just don't know. It's a curiosity point of mine.
just in the future, if we get in another tussle, can we all agree to kind of watch Ragnar and make sure I'm not seeing things?
So I also saw it. And speaking as me, not as Minzeric.
Oh,
Correct. I did see it when we were in the water.
Oh, I would say as Dark Eyes tongue. I've seen the effect as well.
I'm clarifying. I did see it. Correct.
You
I'm
saw it
asking-
from the side. You did not see it face to face, so you didn't really see it rolling out.
I was
of
the
my
only one that saw
eyes
like dripping
down,
out
but
his
you did
eye.
kind of like see some blackness coming out in the face.
Okay. Cool. Carry on. I'm like paying attention. But I'm not saying anything.
But yeah, I would say I have seen the effect as well.
So you're saying two of you have seen blackness in my
Did you
eyes?
rage in the matriarch's cavern? Rage in that barbarian rage.
Yeah. I was intentionally trying to stop the ones that would probably cause us the most harm, which were the spellcasters in the back.
You would see me reach over to a book, open it, write something out.
Nerd.
You're like
Sorry?
you're like that psychiatrist that nobody likes, where you're like, what does that mean?
The big holiday vacation.
We have a viewer that's that psychiatrist. No, I take offense to that. And I say,
How does that make you feel?
So you're saying you ran away because I had black ichor running down my face?
because that's the same thing that was happening at home. The ones that were my friends, and even my father, very last part of it, that's what was happening to them before they attacked me and tried to kill me.
But I didn't. If anything, I saved you and then proceeded to ask if you were fine, and then you ran away.
That is understandable. A plague is wiping out your entire village, including your father. You see a man who's exhibiting all of the same symptoms of said plague. I would avoid that too.
But if you were still aware of your surroundings and you're better now, that means there's a chance that it's not killing people. If it's the same thing, which it may very well not
Or
be.
it could quack like a duck and walk like a duck but be a goose. We don't know.
you would also recall that it took moments for it to take effect whenever someone was exposed to it. And with him, it's been on and on. So,
That's why I'm not convinced it's the same thing. Similar symptoms, I guess you could call it.
It definitely evokes the same sort of
So,
emotions because of the way it works.
yeah. So Ragnar, if you know, I know yesterday I was wary of you, and I'm still going to be a little bit, especially during battle. But I am curious now to see more of it. Learn.
This is the first I've heard of anything like that. I've been around a lot of barbarians that you really just see their muscles pop out more. It's kind of the cliche of roid rage.
As we all know what steroids do here in
Yeah, what is
Pathfinder
steroid you're talking
3.5.
Raging too much.
Oh boy.
But I guess if you all would like to make sure that nothing's going on. I mean, I was
think
fully
we can-
aware of
we can
everything that's
wait.
going on in the fight, but again, like whenever I asked if you were fine, you just turned tail and ran. And that was what really confused me. That's when it seemed like everything kind of went downhill a little bit.
Interesting.
I would like to remind you, Barry, that he never actually asked me. He's claiming that.
Oh, yeah, he didn't.
I did that.
Everybody's carrying notebooks now.
I would
I
like
feel
to,
like the wizard is the ultimate guy who can carry a notebook.
I would like to say that breakfast is starting to get served, and you know that if you're going to do this cave exploration and make it back before the caravan leaves, you better go.
I dive in the moment a place set.
My phone came.
So what are we doing? You're exhausted.
I'll manage it. Trust me, it's not the first time I
What?
felt this way.
What's stopping us from just going to Dremport?
Curiosity.
I guess curiosity, trying to.
On our own? No, I mean like with the caravan, just getting them up and going.
Oh, well, we will go with the caravan, for sure.
Something that was making kobolds disengage, not necessarily something just hanging.
And anything to do with that damn kobold, that blue one. We need to find out what he knows about Kava's death.
The drought poisoning?
And I don't think it's coincidence they appeared that night.
He is a
Sponsor.
Maybelline. Sponsor. I wear some Maybelline.
We're all just
Fabulous.
just periodically, we're just like,
Stop facing off.
That was the first moves that got me.
So, we go?
Okay.
Just to humor.
No, I was thinking it's Newlands.
Yes.
How were we? You had a torch that you found?
Everburning torch, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
depending on the table on fire.
No, it's still up in my room. I haven't brought all my stuff down yet.
I would say just a torch in general. Like we might need to take those.
Oh,
Make it a little easier to see.
we're definitely not gonna go unprepared.
Let us leave.
so, gathering up your things, a bite to eat, like a schoolgirl in an anime, you just put some toast in your mouth and head out. Not that I watch those animes or anything. You head to Charles Bridge. When you get there, you very much approach the ridge with a new sense of confidence. It's a bright, beautiful day. There's still dew on the ground. The sun hasn't even kind of peeked over the horizon fully, and so there's still that cool morning feeling, air about everything. You head into Bob's cave. It still very much has a musky smell, like a giant's been chilling in there. And you get to the crevice in the rock, and you kind of like squeeze, making your way out through the tunnels. As you head in, to your right, you do see that there is the tunnel that leads into the opening where the kobolds were sorting mushrooms. Past that, you hear that same, like, brain-scratching cricket song that's just echoing through the cavern. So you know those guys are back. Unless you want to check any of that out and continue down.
I would like to see if Trig is still here.
If you do take a moment to explore what I have affectionately called the Area 4, looking into that, you do see Trig is in there. He is setting up his wagon and everything, and you see that there is a cage in the back of his wagon that is flipped over horizontally, and a very, very upset Morlock just kind of dashing back and forth, reaching up, trying to grab at what he can. And you just see Trig kind of humming into himself as he's like, and he's just lashing it down to the wagon. And you also notice that he has a very, interesting collection of bioluminescent mushrooms that he's gathered, and some, odds and ends and knickknacks, things that doesn't necessarily mean anything to you guys, but for a man that's trying to sell a left shoe, he has collected those things. He has also lashed down the 2 cages that the centipedes were in onto his back. All of this, the gob dogs are capable of pulling, but you know they're going to have a rough time, especially with Trig's kind of chubby goblin body riding on the back of it. So, you do see him in there kind of pulling a team of those things.
I look at Manzer. Round 2.
Ready, fight. Are we fighting?
Crickets.
No, I'm not doing that. No, that was so dangerous.
Trig.
He jumps as soon as you say his name. He turns, looks at you. You can't just sneak up on a guy.
No, you can.
You're not supposed to sneak up on a guy. He says, "Yes, go chicks."
I need a second. In this second, I need a second to process. Are you leaving for Dremport?
Oh, of course, yes. Much to sell, much to buy, much to trade.
Did you find the centipedes?
Partly. He says, squinting at you. You know what I didn't find?
Oh, the crickets?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you see, a giant spider came to attack us. I can show you where they're at if you'd like.
You can bring me giant spider. We can do business.
Need
Cage? He goes over to one of the centipede cages and begins to unlash it.
not big enough.
The spider? That's the bars? That makes sense.
I can show you where the spider is. And with you and your gob dogs.
No. I'm a trader, not an adventurer. No fighting for trade. As he begins to kind of wallow in it. He knocks something over.
Oh, see, Andrew.
Yes!
He would feed a spider for a month. Good grief.
As long as he needed it, yeah. Keep it alive, so.
Good travels, dude, Trig. Don't let the fungus get to you on the way.
He says, well, there I'm pretty sure it's not no. As he grins and this bioluminescent smear across his face and somehow destroying the mushroom has amplified how bright it is. And he's like, he says, good luck on journey, long flanks. Frog flanks, goat flanks.
Go.
Can we just
Go
Go.
flanks.
So
I'm right.
Into the other room.
Goat flanks.
Delicious.
can we murder or
Go
can we just
snakes.
leave?
Into the other room.
Into the other room. You head into the area with. By the way, the bat's not there.
Stealthily. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the thing, huh?
You were
I
able
wasn't
to
curious.
navigate the fungus crevice. No bat there to be seen. As if it didn't get fed and it was tired of waiting, and so it found you. You get to that same lake area. This time, going straight forward, you get on the raft, row to the other side. Makes that much easier. Heading to the crossway, and then you begin to head north. You head into that open cavern, and then you see on the far side of the open cavern that there are indeed stairs that descend down. However, these stairs are hewn into the stone, into the living rock, and they look masterfully done. They don't look like they were done by kobolds or some kind of ancient cave-dwelling creatures. No dull creature made these. With a knowledge spellcraft, what does everybody get taking 10 on spellcraft? Or you can
Oh,
use
what about taking a 12? I can take a 10.
17.
With a 17.
18.
20. Taking a 10.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have a lot of things.
What'd you get?
17, 18, 20.
16.
Yeah, never mind. None of you passed.
Oh.
Oh.
Because spellcraft is 15 plus double level spell, right?
Yes.
Which is concerning.
It makes it a level 3 plus. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
It could be the spell still.
15 plus the level of the spell.
Not
Plus the level.
Plus the level of the spell.
Anyone who got higher than 18 would know that this was done by stone chip. And this was done over a period of time. Be a kuas, these stairs descend sharply and over a long distance. You begin to get this claustrophobic feel as you begin to head down. The smell of the dank stone just kind of seeping in through your senses. The sound of crickets disappearing far behind you in a dripping noise long since forgotten as you go deeper and deeper into this cavern. As you do so, you head into an area where you see it is the same kind of natural cave walls and ceiling. However, the floor is completely flat. There's no boulders, there's no stalactites, no stalagmites. It is all from ceiling to floor, it's all completely smooth. And there are columns, 4 of which, that raise about 12 feet up to support the ceiling in this area. On the far side, you see that there is a door. This door has no handle or hinges that you can see, and the only thing that lets you know that it is indeed a door are the creases on the bottom, the sides, and the top that make the large rectangle. This door standing about 8 feet tall and about 4 feet wide. On the front of this door, you do see that there are glyphs or arcane runes that have been carved into it. They give it a kind of a circle pattern. Something else, whenever you see this door, that assaults your senses is that saccharine sweet smell of decay. Something in this chamber, whether it was, you don't think recently because it's not that aggressive, but it does still linger with the moisture and just the seclusion of being so deep underground that something has indeed died here. I would like the group to roll me a perception check.
Oh boy. With advantage.
Bullet! 28.
No comment. Yeah.
You saw it. You saw it twice. 6. Almost. You do not see.
14.
You do not see.
19.
You do see.
18.
You do see. You three, as you two, I would imagine, are examining the door, seeing this large kind of monument standing before you, sunken into the wall, maybe about 3 or 4 inches, but definitely is plugged in and carved out for it. To the right, kind of in this secluded corner, you three see that the stone wall has been chiseled at, hacked away, and unlike the stone stairs that led down into this chamber, it is crudely done. It looks like over time, where they had nothing better to do, somebody has taken a pick at this wall and chiseled out in a kind of an oval shape that reaches from about 4 feet off of the ground to the floor. And this oval shape narrows in to a hole about big enough for a grown man to stick his arm through, but nothing else. That is where the smell of decay is seeping from. You see laying before that stone circle are broken tools, picks, hammers, even what looks to be like somebody just took a rock and just hacked at that wall for some time until it busted or they got so tired of holding it they set it to the side.
You know, Damon, when I unlock bombs, I'm coming back to the store.
That's a concerning sentence.
No. He's got a.
He's out of the line.
Can I roll a heal check or a knowledge nature to determine how long whatever is in there has been dead based off the smell?
I would give that a heal check, yeah. You may.
Nat 20.
20.
Can you beat
Never. Maybe. Purely because of bonuses.
I mean, I also had bonuses.
28.
I would have beat it with
29.
Wow.
that? So, you can tell that whatever has died in that room it's probably been maybe like a couple of weeks since it has died. Okay? Maybe a little longer. You're not sure. You can tell that that assessment's probably true. That whatever is beyond this wall has died weeks and weeks ago. Being kind of like secluded into this area has kind of dulled the smell and the rate of decay. However, you can tell just from the smell that things have been dying in that room for a long time. It's not something that's just happened 2 weeks ago, something died. Things have been dying in that room for what smells like years.
Or inspecting the goods.
That would be a knowledge arcana and or a spellcraft.
Oh, spellcraft thing. Never mind. It's not a 1, but it's glimpse.
Not a 1, Max? Let's talk about it.
Arcana is a 22.
Not a
You
1,
roll
Max? Did you roll a 2? What were you rolling?
I rolled a
Max?
2.
One,
Oh, crap.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but Arcana I rolled.
Natural 1. Tattletaling over here.
One with the one.
You rolled over one.
Yeah, I'll roll 1, Max. Farmer. That
tried-
was immediately after your
I tried-
Okay.
I tried to Arma Amos into a 1 and you rolled a 20.
So anti-karma.
I'm just so helpful.
Karma. It's because you said he wasn't a paladin.
What did you roll and what did you get?
Knowledge Arcana. Spellcraft was a 9, but Knowledge Arcana was a 22.
With a 22, not only does this, as you're looking at this, you can tell that this is a thing. Oh, sorry, I was going to facts. I wasn't even. This is a conjuration spell. You do know that these glyphs have something to do with conjuration. But more so than that, this very specific arcane glyph is ancient. Thousands of years old, probably. But it looks familiar. Looking at it, you feel like you've seen these type of glyphs before. And it almost is natural to you to look at it and be like, I don't know specifically what this does, but this feels familiar, and not in a happy way.
Oh, for nothing that familiar is not happening. Would I know how to activate it?
Real quick, did anybody else roll spellcraft?
I can if I see that they're. Do you bring attention to it? Or?
Well, I was gonna let.
I mean, I rolled a 1.
He rolled a 1,
An
so I was
nat
gonna
one?
let that.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So, yeah, I get to ad-lib. So, with a nat 1, you would know that this is
Spellcraft.
With a spellcraft nat 1, you would identify this as a magical effect of an aura of happiness. You would know that anyone that touches this door is given this kind of aura of calm emotions that lasts for 1d4 hours. And this is just something that you can't understand. Why not touch it?
So,
I like how he's hearing these voices and the camera pans out and it's just Ragnar and Perry. Touch it. Touch it. Like it is you.
Who is the most depressed person in the party?
Probably.
Either the child who's
Harry?
coming
I was thinking Isaac.
or the guy who is scarred to no belief.
I'm just gonna like slap you on the back, like, sure lucky day, my friend. This is a gift from the gods. It's a gift of happiness.
The door that conjures some being into this room?
That is absolutely.
Hey, that's what I said.
For spellcraft, it'll be a 26. Was that better than yours?
My spellcraft, yes.
15 plus level of spell.
Yes, sir.
You identify that, yes, that is indeed a conjuration spell of some kind, but it's a teleportation spell. Go ahead
You are not
and roll me a perception and put a +1 on there
For trapsies. No, perception. 23.
With a 23, you know this is a teleportation. That anyone that attempts to touch this door, it will teleport you somewhere. You don't know where. It's a random location, but it will do that thing. And as a matter of fact, its reset is just mechanically 1 round after it's activated. This will perpetually teleport anyone that touches it. To deactivate it, you can do that by typical means, like you know how to deactivate it by just cutting up through the rooms. However, there is a way to bypass it, but you don't know what it is.
Would Arcana give me that?
You didn't rely on
On spellcraft. Okay. Because I didn't roll Arcana yet.
No, Arcana was just to identify
Yeah, sure.
kind of when it was from.
So, putting 2 and 2 together, I figured out where the kobolds are going. Well, I figured out how they're disappearing.
Oh,
The happy glyph,
You should touch it.
no,
It's good.
is a teleportation trap.
Don't touch that.
That doesn't seem logical.
No,
In
it's
fact, I am positive, my friend, that it would do you good to go and touch it.
Prove it.
No, no, no.
I will absolutely go touch
No,
it.
no,
I go.
no.
Okay.
No.
Pick,
No.
pick up the frog. We pick them up on either side and just hold them up in the air.
Not difficult.
It's not that bad.
I guess
For the
there's
short of it, I
no
do
way
believe
for me
Dylan.
to discern
I
where
just
it
thought it was funny.
teleports to reading the glyphs.
You failed your spellcraft? Oh, even if you passed your spellcraft, no. That's knowledge only to ever.
How far away are y'all holding me from it?
Oh, at least 5 feet.
Yeah, you're a ways.
At least 10 feet.
Your tongue comes out.
No.
Wait,
He's got a new feet. Don't use it.
It's not a feat.
We
it's
turn
tongue.
around and face the other way.
It is a feat. Called Agile Tongue.
I hate minutes.
I think this is interesting, isn't it?
I really want to.
I think Tone, the character, hates this. Andrew Bird, the player, wants you to.
Will it teleport all of us? Is also the question.
Oh, I'm
Because
down
you
for it.
two are both holding me.
And Zarek, I assure you that this is a teleportation trap.
It's a teleportation trap from at least 1,000 years, and that's being very true.
Ooh, you know what that
Nonsense.
You know what that means, right?
Don't.
I'm not.
It
No.
is a very ancient language, Jesse. It is from the times before the.
I'm a sense motive on you two.
Okay, don't roll a 1. You're
Oh,
good.
it's so close. I see it over here.
23. 23.
I think the most serious I've been in a while.
Okay. But
Please don't touch it.
we're missing out on an opportunity. Don't blame me.
Can I ready an action to drop the moment I see a sun leaving?
You've never seen me do this.
I don't think it'd be hard to figure out.
Yeah, when
I know you'd be lining up your face, it's like, yeah, that's.
he does his best Yoshi.
I'd be so
impersonation.
quick.
If I was holding
2 feet tall.
if I was holding a 24-inch frog and it opened its mouth, I'd be like, oh, this is gonna be gross.
No, it'd be so fast. It'd just be like, bam. Be like cat-like reflexes. Just
Terrifying. It'd be like Jar Jar Binks, only cool.
So is this the only thing in
Yeah.
this story?
I bought a
or
Jar Jar
fiction?
Binks.
Are you saying?
Walmart.
Are you saying it'd be a literal tongue punch?
Do what?
What?
You heard it.
The
I didn't actually, and I don't know if I want to.
backing up a couple of seconds. The more concerning feature is that the blue kobold didn't go into the other side.
Well, it looked like he's trying to. Does it look like he's trying to go around it? Really?
The hole?
Yeah.
Do you look into the hole?
I would.
Was
Yeah.
the whole trap? I don't know.
Yeah.
Looking into the hole, you see an area that is 5 by 5. It's a relatively small in this wall. And it is piled with bones that vary from races and different stages of decay. There's probably dozens of creatures that were somehow found their way into this cavity and slowly starved to death.
Or I see it.
A loot? Like a loot? See no loot.
Can you loot them? Is there any loot?
How big was the hole again?
Big enough for a grown man's arms.
Is it big enough for a 2-foot frog to squeeze through?
He only has to fit his tongue in. The rest of it is...
I would say.
You squiz.
Are we fishing with the frog again?
We always fish with the frog. It's the best
I
bait.
don't want to see if y'all pull. Like, I feel like I would pull. I would break my back. And I don't want that to
Get
happen.
him!
Jeez.
Quick, grab our tongues! Oh, God. I know it's going to do it! I don't know what you want me to do.
It just keeps going.
Y'all want me to crawl in?
If you want
Do you
to.
have the desire to do
I kind of do,
Can
but
the-
like, it never turns out well for me.
There's always this one chance.
It's never worked out for me.
I
Ever.
kind of look through and I bring the ever-burning torch closer to it. Does that illuminate any further?
It does, yes.
into the room?
You see the same thing.
Same thing, just all the way across.
Are there any items, like, in there?
Peering into the room. At first you don't see them, but as the ever-burning torch illuminates and colorizes the room for you, you do see the sparkling of different metals inside.
Oh, cool. Hey, Mage Hand, can I, like, drag things out?
You may.
Like
So,
shiny things?
So, as the rest of you are kind of looking at the store and kind of figuring it out, I would say this in total would take you about 5 minutes to sift and sort with Mage Hand, reconjuring it and kind of moving things around. In total, you had sifted through the bones and you had found 25 gold pieces, or the equivalent of 25
Correct.
gold pieces in loose coins scattered about therein. You found a golden tooth that is worth 1 gold piece.
Okay.
You found several weapons, but it seems over time they have become decayed.
So
and
they weren't
useless.
masterwork or anything
No.
like that? Okay.
However, there is a scimitar in there. The blade long since has rusted away, but the handle and the jewels that have been encrusted into it, adorned therein,
Bedazzled.
bedoozled, is worth 50 gold pieces, with the golden handle and the jewels as well. It is much as a piece of art as it is valuable as treasure in its raw state.
Okay. So I do have appraise as a skill. So I would kind of divvy up the loose coins, so five more gold of value, and I'll just stash this handle until we can find a use for it, I guess.
Also,
Yeah, gross.
Do you see any movement in there at all?
Oh yeah, the bones are just sifting through them.
Them bones, them.
I was hoping something would come out. But
He's good.
you also see scratching.
it's dark.
Oh, it's not. He's got a torch in here now.
It's the emotion is dark.
That's more nice. That's macabre. That's grim. That's gruesome.
Not Bob.
Gross.
That's not Bob.
That is not Bob.
Just cover the hole.
Probably should. We're not.
Neat.
We should. Would I know that teleportation glyph needs? Does it need contact with like a human part, or would slashing with a weapon activate it?
Any contact would initiate the trap.
So to break the trap, you have to touch the trap.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
So the trap takes you. We assume that the trap takes you into the room, correct?
That's the assumption.
Yes. Well,
If you could squeeze through the whole one way, you could squeeze through the other one.
In theory. But there's no reason going there now.
You would also know that something bypasses the trap, which you don't know what it is.
I'm gonna try to squeeze it. No, it never
There's
works.
no-
It never
there's no
works
point.
out.
Don't do it. There's not like a hidden treasure chest in the ceiling or something.
Curiosity, like tattoo, like GD, not just sort of put it near the trap, not touching it, just sort of hovering it near, see if it acts in any sort of way. Didn't think so, just
Ragnar, can you take that rock over there and throw it at this cliff?
I got the rock at the cliff.
Throwing the rock, it hits the glyph, it disappears, and from that cavity you hear
So it takes you to the other side. To verify, I throw another rock.
We're gonna fill up the cavity one way or another.
It's definitely the other side.
I'm gonna try to crawl through the hole.
Hang on. Before you do that,
Well, he made the sound effects.
Okay. I'm gonna crawl back. I'm gonna touch it.
give me Wilson.
Oh, why?
one.
Because I want to know.
Do I wanna know? Does this trap work both ways?
25.
Sad to see you go.
Touching it, the trap activates. You feel your body kind of shudder in place, as if it's trying to be displaced from
I
the
am
faith
willing.
that it occupies.
Case.
Oh, you want to be teleported?
You.
Oh, then dude, don't roll. Will save.
Okay.
You appear in that room. You fall amongst the decay.
Okay.
It's gross.
And two rocks.
Don't do it right now.
It's in the swamp.
Throw another rock.
What was the funny thing?
Okay.
I was making sure that it went white.
Is it obvious that everything that died in here died of starvation? Meaning, questioning, is there any like trauma to any of these bodies, physically speaking? Okay. I'm gonna do a perception check to see if there's anything else in this room.
Okay.
That was so close.
It's also keen.
24. I'm just gonna crawl out that. Oh, that was scary.
That was gross. Why'd you make me do that?
Was there nothing over there?
Did you find happiness?
No, there was no. Thank you, Chris. It means a lot.
So as to not mitigate, would I know that teleportation sometimes has a chance to misfire and teleport you to a different location?
Typically, yes.
You should stop saying.
And so, like,
Because one of you has experienced that firsthand.
I don't know. And because Andrew Burden knows that teleportation, like, the teleportation spell requires familiarity with a particular location. I guess I'm sort of trying to figure out if you can convey that to a glyph.
It's teleporting to a specific location.
Right. Because I know, like, depending on how familiar with it, it changes the percent chance of it filling.
Right.
You're saying, does it matter depending upon the person that activates it?
They could
No.
also see it as they're creating it because it was right there.
Right. Sure. I'm
Okay.
trying to not.
To give you kind of like a metagaming sense, there was nothing in that corner. They fixed the trap to teleport to that corner, and then once it started working as they intended, they stone shaped it off.
For whatever reason, my brain thought that this whole thing was just behind the door.
No.
I fully understand.
Okay. So the door.
I had door, chamber behind door, hole right next to chamber that could see into.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be something more to this room than the door.
So there are 2 columns in there?
4.
Four. Is there anything written? Any carvings on the columns?
They're simply just.
I'm gonna inspect the walls to make sure there's nothing wrong with them.
Check out the door for traps.
It's right.
Is the door with the glyph on it?
Two glyphs on
Done that one. I thought it was 2 separate things. I don't. You're doing fine. We're all not.
So wait, okay.
Yeah, ask questions for clarification. Because this is in my mind. I can see it. You can't.
I go to open the door.
Roll me a Wilson.
Yeah. Now that I know that I can get through, 23.
So it begins to displace you, but you're able to focus and keep yourself there. In that moment, when you overcome this magic, you get the sense that at one time it was much stronger. As if the magics over the eons have begun to wane.
Suspicious.
I was like,
Is it
Open?
I just out of the blue in a missile say open.
I say it's celestial. Open?
Secretly open. It only makes sense as a Gribbly built this.
Group of people that live in swamps and trees.
That's why it makes me so happy.
This is a happy noise. We. With no inflection, just we.
Here's the thing. This door is familiar to me. I recognize it from the before.
Is it a door, though?
You
It has
recognize-
none of the properties of a door, other than being shaped like a door.
You
It
recognize
has
the
no
glyph?
handle, it has no hinges, it has no window, it has no mail slot. The only thing is that it's shaped like a door.
It's just a rectangle.
Sure.
It is a door in the sense that it takes you from one place to another.
It's
A steep
That's
slide
deep
can
for
do
a
that
kid.
too.
Gotta admit.
things to think
Chapter 1.
For those of you that
The door.
you said it was stone shaped,
Yes.
who can cast stone shape?
I can shape stone.
None of you remember.
Yeah,
Well, depends on how hard.
about.
but I don't know
what
what classes can.
Well,
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
I say something druidic.
Now, what language do I get? This is the session today. We're gonna try and open this door. That's it.
So how long does it feel like it's been?
So, to wrap this up, I will say, if you succeed the will save, you can deactivate the trap. So, as if marking out the runes takes a standard action, and if you make the will save to do so, then you can remain there.
Yeah, I don't try that.
Okay.
I don't have the will.
Well,
Anyway.
We know you can get out of the
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still need to roll disable device.
No, and I definitely can't do that.
Can I assist him with that?
Just coach him through it.
Yeah.
Does that have to
Well,
be disabled?
could you really mechanically
There is something that negates it, but you don't know what it is.
mechanically speaking? Could he ready an action to disable device the moment he's triggered the trap because we know it has a
The
brick-
cooldown?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because we know he can get out of the trap room.
Are you willing to try
I
that?
put that in
Instead, I rip out a page of my notebook and say, "Do not touch" in common, and set it beside the door. Beside the door, not on the door.
Judges.
There. Can we go to Dremport now?
I am with him on this.
If you'll give me a brief second, can I record the sequence of runes in my book?
He goes to etch it.
I do not do this.
Hmm.
Which I would have to go to like 3/4 of the book, because it seems like there's a bunch of writing just in the middle of the book, but at 3/4.
Well, it's judgments.
Because it almost looked like a wizard.
Indubitably. Alright. Yeah.
We head back out.
Wonderful.
Are there any other rooms that we have? Not
We will be
Yes.
coming back to this fight eventually.
Okay, so no.
Make it hard.
We will make it our lair. Once somebody can cast prestidigitation and clean this place up.
You have somebody that
Can you do that right now?
I mean, I don't have a bear back then.
Cool.
You can
Tomorrow.
You know that we got that. We're gonna clean up that kobold.
You can only have so many per day. Prepared.
Not for cantrips.
Because it was
Yes.
hard.
Yes, for cantrips. I know all the cantrips, but I can't have all of them prepared.
I've never played a wizard. This game that we're playing,
Cleric should be the same way, though. You don't have access to all the cantrips at all.
orisons.
You don't have access to all the orisons at one time. Only the ones that you know.
Orisons.
And if you know, you know.
They are distinctly.
The more you know.
We know. Let's go.
Let's go.
Excellent.
If you want it, you can
Leave
have
this
it.
place.
What a wonderful way to spend the first hour of gameplay.
We're coming back here, by the way.
Yeah.
Someday.
No, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Okay?
Every week.
It was how we're gonna start every session.
It's cute that you think that. So, I'm just going to throw
We need to
those
slay that.
notes away.
We need to slay that dragon, but we gotta go back to the rooms.
There's gonna be something important there. Something major.
Say, oh, there was something important in there. You're in there. Oh.
Heading back out.
Mm-hmm.
Making your way back out of the cavern, you feel a little empty and defeated.
We got,
However,
I mean,
you
we
did
got
get some cash.
5
Some
gold for
cold
that.
hard cash. You make your way back to Blackberry Farms, and it is about that time you see Tamor hitching up the wagon with Omar and Valorous. As they're getting all the equipment together, you see the 3 followers of Freya, you see the mother and son getting ready to go, and everybody is just kind of preparing to leave. And Tamor turns and he sees all of you approaching, and he says, I thought we'd lost you. He says, welcome back. Are you ready to depart for Dremport?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes.
As long as
Grab our
yours
stuff.
is-
Are you accompanying us?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm a little disappointed. I thought you meant something else by healer, but I'm excited to have you. It was a joke last week. So can we get a healer? It's like a blue healer. King. It's a dog. Anyway.
All of that.
That was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
It's gonna be a thing forever.
He
I give it 10. Okay, 9.
he saddles up, getting on Kane, getting ready to leave.
We've made that joke far too many times. Carry on.
The workers of Blackberry Farm all come out to say their goodbyes to you. They wish you luck, they wish you safe journeys. Flint and the twins come out and they're sad to see you go. The twins are like, it's been a long time since we've had somebody to play with. And they're super kind of like bittersweet to see you go.
I give them a couple of the glittery stones from the cave. Just why not?
Like crystal,
Yeah.
like a souvenir from an adventurer, like a real adventurer. As you're preparing to go, the barn doors open and Bob walks out. His hair has been trimmed and cut. It is combed back. His face neatly shaved. and it seems that he has a new cambric shirt that has been made of like some kind of burlap material. Like to a normal person it'd be rough and uncomfortable, but he seems perfectly content with it, and matching slacks to go with it. He is still barefooted, and he is holding baby in one hand as he steps out with a smile to see you all. He says, I hope you all are safe. He says, say goodbye, baby. He says as he makes the teddy bear wave to everyone.
Bye, Bob.
Who was the one that was singing cloth gun away, taking cloth gun away?
Apris?
I would just lean over to Apris. Busy, were you?
She said, I made that overnight. Don't question it. I did.
And just continuing, I do appreciate you letting me stay and giving me at least a roof over my head.
She hands you a kind of bundled package. She says, there's some bread in there, some cheese, some of our freshest blackberries. She says, thank you for everything you've done for us. That one day's worth of rations.
I don't think I've ever received a gift before.
She looks at you. One moment, she says, as she goes inside. A couple of moments later, she comes back out. She says, my father started this farm. He gave this to me and my sister. She says, I want you to. She says, I don't know why. I just feel like you have a bag. Put that in your bag.
I opened the bag for you.
Like he's just, doesn't know what to do.
She hands you a small pin, like for a cloak or a cape, and it is like a cluster of blackberries with a leaf coming off of it.
Just immediately puts it on his doctor's coat.
She said, she kind of straightens you up like a mother would their son graduating, you know? She says, I feel like you want to do great things. And even if you don't figure out where you came from, you'll know you always love them.
Okay, just
Shanks has experienced feelings for the first time.
new skill unlocked. Feelings.
I'm not trying, you're trying.
Yes.
The other one.
So, gathering your things, you all get aboard the caravan, and the patrons, or not the patrons, the owners of Blackberry Farms, wish you luck as you start to head out. You file out, leaving Blackberry Farms with a sense of accomplishment that it is a better place now than when you found it. As you leave, you do see something that kind of gives you that sense of sadness. You see that Kava's grave is set off to the side and on a hill as you're leaving, in a small kind of open grove. You do see an area next to it with anybody that has a reasonably high survival, where it looks like a large canine had kind of bedded down for the day that she had been buried and has long since left. But you continue on. Wormy still chowing out his pot, I assume? And of course, Robbie tucked away in his bag.
Yes.
Every so often, just kind of peeking his little ferret head out, just examining everything, maybe even like scurrying around you.
Oh yeah.
It is odd having Robbie with you now because you feel this connection with him that you can't quite explain. Maybe like a couple of times through the night, Veyram would like grab him or even like wrap a bow around his neck or something like that, and you felt annoyed on his behalf. Almost like you wanted to be like, don't do that to Robbie, you know. And you can kind of see him with that like grumpy ferret expression where his eyes squint and he stops moving and he just like turns into a noodle. His little fangs hanging out. But like this is new to you, and you don't know if it's because you've never had a pet before or what. But you begin travel with travel music of some kind that I'm about to
royalty-free travel music.
Brought to you by
Steve.
That's an old joke.
It's an old joke.
It's an old name server to check something.
Naughty but a goodie.
Nope, you
A different song.
There's only 2 tracks on this one.
I only bought the 2 tracks. I had to pay more for the 5 tracks.
So like the
Don't worry, it comes back around.
Family Guy Blue Harvest when they're playing the Cantina band. Play that same song again. Okay.
It's like Donkey from, is it Shrek 3 or whatever?
7.
Or yeah, or like he's singing and the witches like whip him and he like sings a different song and they like whip him again. He keeps changing the song he's singing. As the caravan continues, you travel for the better part of that day. The sun begins to set, and you all start to have a feeling that you've kind of missed your window to get there before night, and you're kind of thinking, we're going to have to camp again. And you're just kind of like, after sleeping in a bed and having good food, you kind of like spoiled yourself for the night, and now you're like, we got to bust out the tents again. However, Damon, you know you're close. You know you'll get there before night. You head up this kind of wagon trail. The trees become a little more scarce as you go up. You see that there are fewer and fewer large stones that had decorated the ridges, just like you had near Blackberry Farms. But you top this hill that looks out over the shore. When you do so, the shoreline is still quite some distance away, but you can smell that salty breeze rolling over everything. And it truly is a sight to behold as you look out over the capital city of Dremport. Dremport, in its setting, in its kind of geological location, is an advantageous one, because the shoreline here is mostly decorated with boulders and sharp cliffs, descending out and giving way into a beach line that opens up into a gulf. So this gulf only has the shoreline on the inside of it, where on the outside of it, it looks inaccessible. There's no way to get like a real ship to dock and for people to unload from anywhere other than that gulf. However, when I say gulf, it is large enough for an armada of ships to sit comfortably therein, even with the 3 islands that dot the inside of it. The city proper, what you would call the main heart of Dremport, is on that same shoreline, everywhere from where it crescents out all the way back to beneath you as you look down from your hillside. There's not a ton of buildings or farms or things like that on the outskirts of it, where in most normal cities or villages there would be. Here, it seems like farming seems to be something that people do more to sustain themselves than for a job. So there's no like vast fields or farmlands or anything like that. It seems like the main focus of everything that is Dremport takes place on the shoreline. There are some large buildings, some what look to be like maybe a coliseum or even like a theater, as you kind of give a cursory glance of the city proper. But the largest buildings, you notice, are situated on the 3 islands. These 3 islands, almost like their own satellite cities that rest inside the bay. And I am going to go ahead and describe these to everyone, kind of what you see and what it means, because Damon is familiar with all of this. He has seen all of this before, and he does know what they mean. So any questions that may be asked to him, these are just things that any citizen of Dremport would know, or any learned person of the surrounding cities where they grew up would know. So this island that is closest to the shoreline, inside of this gulf, hugged within this gulf, is the island of Courage. The island of Courage is the smallest of the three islands. And this one, the elevation is not very high, but it is the flattest of the three islands, the easiest to build on. And the highest structure therein is the statue of Arady. Arady stands with a woolen cloak dropped down over her shoulders that drop to her feet. She has on the back of that woolen cloak 2 large falcon wings. This is not a typical depiction of Arady, but is to show that her animal is the falcon. Arady herself is not typically depicted with having angel-like wings. She does, however, hold aloft a bastard sword with her left fist clutched and a look of determination on her face, as if a general sending a group of soldiers into battle. All around her on this island are small training areas, including the port. You see there in the port, organized, not just like normal docks and ports for trade ships to come in. This is a military set armada that is docked on at least half of this island. The other half seems to be composed of more of like training facilities, barracks, guard shacks, things like that. Excuse me. But Damon, you would know that the base of that statue is a temple. That the statue of Arady herself is kind of the point or the capstone of a much larger temple that makes up almost the heart of that island, even going down deep inside of it. And this is where the Justicars live and train. The Justicars being the paladin of Arady and one of the most dependable guard forces of the city of Dremport. The second island is the second largest island, the one that sits kind of in the middle, but set off to the left. As with the first 2 islands, they are lined up with each other, but the middle one is set off to one side, slightly askew. And you would know that this is the island of Knowledge. This island has what looks to be Roman architecture, with pillars and these porcelain buildings, these porcelain white buildings, not just porcelain, these toilets. These porcelain white buildings, these ivory buildings, just kind of decorating the entirety of this island. These are libraries. All of them are libraries, and something that you would know that the color of these cliffs are natural colors. These are natural white stone. And everything has been carved into them. These libraries and everything, making this kind of island a living entity in itself, sort of. Where the living stone had been hewn into and these libraries had been placed therein. In the center of this building, however, is the only exception, which is a tower that raises up several stories to a pinnacle with a large telescope sticking out of the top of it. Anyone with any kind of knowledge in Arcana would know that this is a wizard's tower. This is a place of learning and a place to practice magic, where anybody can reach out and get closer to the stars in the firmament, as well as the ground beneath them and the ocean around them, to kind of harness all of the elements at their disposal to practice and learn new and more unique magics. The first island, the one that sits kind of right in the center of the opening of the Gulf, that would force any ship coming therein to part and have to choose either left or right to enter into the Gulf itself. This is the Island of Power. The Island of Power is where all of the most powerful people in Dremport do business or even live. The Island of Power is adorned with towering buildings, opulent structures, and even a cobblestone roadway that you can see from where you are. This is in the distance. This is way out there, as far as possible from you. And these roads seem to kind of spiderweb with an organized chaos that wraps the entirety of this island. You do see these same structures, those beautiful structures adorn it, but what really sticks out is this, elevation-wise, is not only the largest island, but is the tallest island. In the center of this island, standing on top of a mountain, is a statue that stands nearly, you would think, 50 to 80 feet tall. 50 feet at the head, almost 80 feet at the very point. And this is of a beautiful woman wearing a long flowing cloak with hair that drops down behind her. The stone expertly hewn and cut and preserved, despite it looking like such weight shouldn't be able to support itself that far out. Her hands, however, held aloft above her head and at just below the wrist, both of them, and continuing from there on, look to be made of crystal. These crystals hold what look to be the top of a lighthouse. And from this lighthouse, a spiraling kaleidoscope of color that paints the evening sky in a beautiful rainbow display as it spins in place, almost like a prism that shines out, magnified by the hands that wrap around it. This is the statue of Asvera Dremora, the patron of Dremport. The history of Asvera Dremora, is during the War of the Five Kings that happened some couple hundred years ago. Asvera was a powerful spellcaster and the daughter of one of the kings. As a princess, she was kidnapped by one of the warring kings. Taking her into captivity, they knew she was too powerful to be kept whole, and they also wanted to bargain with her father to allow his borders open for them to invade his lands. So what the opposing king had done was he had severed her hands at the wrist, sending them to her father. Her father, grief-stricken and loving his daughter more than his own kingdom, allowed his borders open. This area to Dremport being the most tactfully advantageous place for this kingdom to flood in and take over. Asvera was returned to her father before the Armada was to flood into this area, a mistake that king would come to regret. Asvera Dremora, over time, between the time that she was maimed and the time that this Armada had flooded into her father's kingdom, had learned to spellcast without somatic components, had learned to use her magic without gesturing at all. And so as this Armada flooded into the opening of Dremport itself, she stood on its shoreline and with her magics conjured a storm that washed over the Armada and bashed its ships into the sides of the cliffs that decorate the Three Island and the shorelines outside thereof. And because she single-handedly sunk an entire Armada within the Gulf of Dremport, it became known as the Golden Shores, where for the next couple hundred years, people flooded to Dremport to kind of explore the stones or even dive into its depths to retrieve any sunken treasure that may be there. And a large portion of Dremport itself is decorated by the long driftwood destroyed hulls of the enemy ships that had been bashed there. So it's no rare thing to go through the city and see a building that has been carved into the side of a ship that had been tossed and careened onto the shore.
What was the name of the opposing country?
Evil King number 1.
Okay.
Yes. That kingdom has long since fallen and no longer exists. His kingdom being divvied up amongst other people. I can make up a name.
That's fine. It's been forgotten in history because they're losers.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody remembers losers.
Yeah.
Was that too much? I'm sorry.
As long as we don't clip just that part.
Oh, it's clipped. It's
No, it's already done.
My Frank Miller history is offended.
Our video's canceled.
Man, we
Just that part out because I've dropped way too much lore for it to be ruined now. The only thing left that is a spectacular sight, with the exception of those 3 islands, are 2 forts that sit on the mouth of the bay. These forts looking outward towards the ocean, for anyone that would be coming in, would be attacked on 3 fronts. The middle island and those 2 forts that sit on either side. This is the city of Dremport.
3 islands.
3 islands,
and
the
a
city that sits on the shoreline, and that wraps the Gulf in its entirety.
And in a small way, all the boats that lie on the bottom of the sea.
And some that still sit
That's
on the
another,
shoreline.
don't sit on the front.
Yes, but there are like small businesses that you can go and speak to, and they will scam you out of your money, taking you on a gold search, where you could go anywhere on the shoreline and look. But if you're new to Dremport, there's somebody that's like, hey, for a small fee, I can take you to where the best loot washes up on the shoreline. And they can feed you some kind of BS story for why that's better than anywhere else. So you have that to look forward to.
Nice. Does the bay have a name?
The what?
The bay?
The bay? Oh,
Is it the severed bay?
no. Do you want it to be?
Okay, cool. So their hands were severed.
Oh, so speaking of that, this is known as the Bay of Light, or the City of Color, because because the light that is given off from this lighthouse is unique to any other lighthouse because of its prismatic pattern that dances around the city and extends out over the ocean. Also, something you would know, Damon, that lighthouse has never went out. It has never burned out, and there are theories as to why that is, that range anywhere from some kind of planar creature has been bound there to forever burn it, to some kind of new technology that has harnessed the power of lightning, to even the soul of Dremora herself resides there, forever extending her light and protection over the citizens of Dremport. And there is a plaque at the base of that lighthouse that reads, may her reach extend to all us citizens of Dremport.
Beautiful.
And that is the lore drop. As you all kind of head down the hill, the sun is setting low, and you begin to file out towards the gate. There is a wall that surrounds the majority of Dremport on the front side. There are angles to come in on the side where there's no opposing walls, but it's bottlenecked. So where this wall would keep a large force from just heading forward into the city itself, those two seemingly open areas are tactfully advantageous because they would bottleneck any force that are coming into it into kind of their own demise. As you begin to head into Dremport proper, you get to that wall and there are several guard shacks. At these guard shacks, you do see several guards, and they have capes. The bright blue and gold being the color of Dremport, being its bannered colors, a blue filled with a gold trim. On the cape are 2 hands extending out with a crystal in the center, just levitating above the palms, and that same kind of prismatic spray coming and less opulent decorations, because these people are there to meet you. They all have the color sewn into the fabric. Most of them don't. Most of them is just a kind of plain white depiction of the hands, the crystal, and the pattern of the light coming off, but with no
Like a W with a circle over it.
sort of kind of, yeah. You, however, see amongst these guards that are there to greet you holding spears, and they're like just letting people kind of come and go. These seem to be like citizens of Dremport that have left for some reason and are coming back in. They seem to be regulars. They're coming in and just out of bureaucratic reasons, their names are being taken into ledgers when they left and why they're coming back. However, when you all begin to file into this, you do see that there is a paladin that comes to meet you all. He is young, his jaw, his chiseled jaw well shaven, his hair well kempt. He wears, however, burgundy colors along with that golden trim. These are the colors of a Rady. He carries a bastard sword on his hip, and he is wearing full plate armor and what looks to be very expensive attire. And as he steps up, he extends his hand to all of you, and the caravan kind of comes to a halt. He steps over. He steps over to Tamor, and they begin to kind of discuss and talk. Tamor would then turn to all of you, and he would collect the gold that you had promised him. I'm not going to subtract any gold from your money. One, because it's not enough to really matter, and two, because it was already promised him, so you entered into this campaign knowing that gold would go anyway. So Tamor and his little trio then bid you all farewell and leave you into the hands of the Justicar that is there to greet you.
Do you grab all your loot?
Yeah. I had loot that was on one of the carts.
Okay, yeah.
Was it
I would
like
assume
bundled up and like.
I would assume with your strength score, it's you good. You good, dog. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.